but it's the beginning of a new period for us, right? It's the glider period for oceanography. One stops. The glider's 50 feet on. How far to the glider?
Yeah, I mean, we need to be able to grab a hold or hook the rope so it doesn't get caught up.
So when we start the first glider.
Sorry, start one more time. And a little bit louder.
Our plan next is to recover the first glider. And we're going to be doing that by putting a diver into the water, attaching a couple of ropes to the glider, and then using one of the little cranes that we have on the side of the ship to bring the glider up out of the water and then pivot and come onto the boat through the little gate on the side here, and then lay it down in a real controlled way using those ropes into the cradle that we have, that we store that thing in. After we do that, we're going to deploy the second glider, and we're going to run a series of tests with that just to make sure that the electronics are working, the navigation is working, and that the glider itself is doing what we expect it to be doing. In total, that should take about an hour's worth of work to make sure that that goes, and after that, we're going to call it a successful day and head back to Galveston.
Tell me a little bit about the results y'all have gotten so far, and whether those have been, in your mind, positive, negative.
Right. So, so far we've done 3 missions for the glider. The first one was just a basic electronics test, make sure that it goes down and up and comes up and is able to report. The second test, and that was successful, so that's good. The second test was for it to go up and down a few times. We call them yo's. So it did a few yo's up and down, came up, reported the data. That seems to have also worked well. The third test was for it to go find a waypoint, so a place in the ocean, and we said go to this point. Given that we were tethered and there's a fairly strong current associated with this water here right now, that didn't go as planned. I wouldn't say it was a failure, it was just that it was influenced by the strong current and the tether. We're going to get all those data back when we get on the on shore and we go through a post-mortem of what we've done. So we go back and see what did we do, how did this thing perform. We can then assess all of the data, and my general view is that this has been a really good success. It's been a really learning experience for a lot of people, but it's the beginning of a new period for us, right? It's the glider period for oceanography, so, and that's a good thing for us.
My name is Andrew Dancer. I am electronics technician and part-time glider technician. And today has been, my role today has been mostly to support Karen and Ruth in their glider testing. I'll probably be doing the recoveries and deployments for the rest of the day.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, I'm Ruth Mullins-Perry. I'm a postdoctoral research associate with Steve DeMarco, and I'm a glider pilot.
I'm Karen Drager. I work out at GERG, and I'm a glider pilot. Today we've been indoors sending all the commands to the glider, telling it where we want it to swim to, what kind of missions we want it to run, when we want it to collect data and when we don't. And back at GERG, I do all the ballasting and pre-mission planning and anything related to gliders.
So I do exactly what she just listed, and we essentially co-pilot the glider. So every time, ideally when we do a real mission, we wouldn't be on the boat, we would be back at the lab at the university waiting for the glider to surface maybe every 4 to 6 hours. When it surfaces, we put commands to download the data, and then we resume its current mission. And so all of the operations that we're doing out here is not how it's going to work when we do the the real science missions. We'll have the technicians who will deploy the gliders, and then we would be back in the lab or at our personal computers piloting the glider when it and checking when it surfaces, and then resending files and downloading data.
Tell me a little bit about what you think this research, like long-term goals that you guys have, and surprises that you've had kind of along the way.
Well, one of our long-term goals is to have a fleet of gliders, so to go beyond 2 gliders where we have multiple gliders out in the Gulf of Mexico flying concurrently. And so, you know, it's not just one at a time, but it's multiple gliders that are out at the same time. And that we're controlling back and forth, and that we're getting a wide coverage of the Gulf of Mexico with these autonomous vehicles. And so the nice thing with them is, you know, right now we're surfacing every hour because we're monitoring the progress, we're making sure the systems work. But in the real world missions, it might be every 4 to 8 hours depending on the goals of the mission. And so you can have multiple gliders out at the same time that you're managing and that you're getting a larger coverage with. So those are kind of broader project goals. My personal goals is right now to be able to pilot the glider without referencing the manual, because we're still learning a lot. There's quite a bit of commands, and you know, it gets hard because you're trying to remember how certain little words are spelled or how they're abbreviated. But short term, hope to just become more of a fluidity with the piloting.
For you, you want to add anything, or are you good with that?
That's good. I would just add that increasing our fleet of gliders, gliders can collect more data than, say, if you go out on a research vessel. You're stopping and maybe only doing 10 or 12 CTV casts for the same amount of money, or roughly the same. You can send a glider out for days or weeks and get volumes more data back. So it's just a more efficient way of collecting data, and it's kind of becoming the new norm. That's the way oceanography is going, a lot more autonomous vehicles for data collection.
Yeah, for sure. Not at all. The project we have going on today.
Well, today's the first day out with the gliders. On a while ago now, so today's a test day to make sure they get in the water, they deliver the data that are required before they use the cruise in early July. So it was really to see what it was like to get them in the water, test them, and obviously try to get them back. Just like an airplane pilot, you want as many safe landings and recoveries as you have to take.
Okay, and tell me a little bit about GERG's role in this entire experiment.
GERG is charged with really managing the gliders, developing the gliders. Our point is to really have an ocean observing capability. We already have the Texas Automated Buoy System, the number of buoys around here. We're near one right now. And the idea is to explore the Gulf, understand the Gulf far more with these new devices. My hope is that in a few years we'll have 10. The reason why we've invested in people like glider pilots and also facilities like the glider laboratory itself is to have a real facility so we